TV series called 7th Street Theater.
It's different. It's not necessarily.
And confidentially.
Hello, this is Cheryl Ariaz Wicker with Christian Movie Connect. We are at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, and we have our first interview of the day with Brad Stine.
I would think it'd be the only interview of the day. Once you get through with me, there'll be nothing left to talk about.
That's right.
That's good.
Yeah, and because you have the most exciting movie that will be premiering here.
That's exactly right. It's the big talk of the NRB is Persecuted, the first film that's dealing with religious liberties and persecution in America. It stars some of the biggest actors in Hollywood. James Remar, who's on Django Unchained. He's been in Dexter, numerous films. Bruce Davison, Academy Award nominated. Fred Thompson's in it. Natalie Grant's in it. Dean Stockwell, Academy Award nominated. We've got ACLJ involved with it. Jordan Sekulow is in. Wendy Griffith from 700 Club. So Gretchen Carlson from Fox. So it's just quite a unique group, but it's a suspense thriller. It is a complete crossover, and people are saying it's the new wave of what faith films are going to look like, because it's suspenseful, but it's dealing with real issues of America and Christians' liberties. So, but it's done in a fiction format that anybody could enjoy it, be excited about it, but it has a real underneath story that's actually taking place in America, and I think that's why people are really finding it fascinating, especially believers. But like I said, a non-believer will still enjoy the film.
Yeah, well, great. So tell us a little bit about the storyline of this.
Yeah. Well, it's about John Luther, who's a nationally known evangelist. He's approached by a senator that they have a bill in Congress that makes all the religions equal, that we're all going to get along, but nobody can speak differently of anybody else.
Does that sound like something we've seen before?
Something that the United Nations have actually proposed, amazingly enough, which is exactly why the Sekulows got involved. Because even though it's fiction, it's dealing with reality. And those simple, beautiful ideas, all religions get along, which we all want. What people don't realize is if we all are getting along and we're all equal, then nobody's right, which means religious liberties are actually being censored. And that's the problem in America, is that if I want to have a religious belief, that's fine, but if somebody feels that it offends them, they can trump that. The first line of the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law establishing religion, forbidding the free exercise thereof. The most sacred line the Founding Fathers gave us, that's what's at stake now. So this film is dealing with that, but again, it's suspenseful, it's fun. You can watch it, even a young, it's PG-13, it's not for children, okay? This isn't your grandma's faith films. We're moving into a whole new direction. But we're excited, and it's getting a lot of buzz. We just filmed it, screened it for Congress in D.C. a week ago. 13 congressmen saw it. It's really taken off. So, you know, God's anointing it, and we're pleased to see that, because we really believe in what the story tells.
So you are actually going to be appearing in it as well, correct?
I'm a co-star and associate producer of this, because it's something that I have been, you know, New Yorker called me God's comic in 2004 when they did an article on me. And from that time, you know, I've used my comedy to lift up God and country and tear down political correctness. That's what I'm known for. But I realized that God really was calling me as a storyteller to get involved in the American process as a missionary to our country. I believe God is calling the artists to be the new warriors for how Christianity will be seen in this next generation in America, the millennials and so forth. They're not listening to pastors. They're basically not even listening to politicians. But they'll listen to movie actors. They'll listen to musicians. That's the narrative, and it's controlled by progressive thought, which is anti-Christian. And so how else do we respond to that? In love, and with a Christ perspective, but yet with righteous indignation that things need to be talked about. Well, we do it through filmmaking, we do it through television, we do it through comedy. Unique ways to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. And that's really what God's called me to do in my career.
Yeah. I mean, as I've seen a lot of your comedy. I'm actually a big fan of yours, so.
Me too. Yeah. No, I mean a fan of yours. Wait a minute. I don't.
Well, we're just mutual fans, but but you're not afraid to say how you feel about things, because it's something that needs to be said.
Well, not only am I not afraid, frankly, I'm very, sad to think of all the Christians that come up to me after a show oftentimes and say, oh, thank you for the things you're saying, you know, for standing up for these ideals. Now, that's a nice thing to say, but my thought is always, why aren't you doing this? This is America. I can't do this by myself. I have my piece of this puzzle that God has called me to do, and I'm doing it. And if it helps you and inspires you, of course I'm grateful for that. I'm trying to, you know, do God's honoring work. But every believer is supposed to be doing this, especially in America, where you were given the right and the privilege and the expectation to stand up for absolute truth and for freedoms and liberty and justice for all. And that's what Christians are losing in this nation. So, again, it's why God has called me to move out of just comedy, which is a great way of telling stories. I mean, I was on Fox and Friends every Monday for 6 months telling these commentaries. See, a comic can get that. You know, they're not asking a pastor to do that. So, again, it just shows how God will use the artists to get into places, the secular places, that another Christian's not going to have access to. So, God knows what he's doing, and we're fighting the good fight. And I think this film, Persecuted, is going to really open eyes of what kind of filmmaking Christians can make and what's coming in the future.
Okay, so the movie will be airing at the NRB, so I will get a chance to watch it, and I'll try to make some comments on my blog about it and let people know what I thought. And
I co-star, associate produce, but there's lots of great actors in it. Great story, Persecuted, and again, if Christians just spend, you know, $10 and go out and buy a ticket, like when we bought a sandwich for Chick-fil-A. It shows the power of what Christians can do to make an impact in culture simply by supporting something they believe in.
Absolutely. And as a Christian filmmaker myself, that's something I feel very passionately about, is that, hey, Christians, we complain about the entertainment that's out there, but then when it comes to the movies, sometimes we don't go, or we say, I'm going to go watch it when it's on DVD, but we've got to, it's like casting your vote for good entertainment.
That's exactly what it is. You know, Christians got used to the protest that gets a banner and says, this is bad. But the best protest is to support what you believe in, because that's a bottom line number that nobody can dispute. And that's what we're trying to use to engage culture. And so I'm excited for you to see this and can't wait to hear the wonderful reviews you give me.
That's right. Well, I am so glad you came walking by my table, because I didn't know you were here today.
It was God's providence.
Thank you so much for meeting with us and being with us on Christian Movie Connect. And tune in again for more great interviews with people in the Christian music industry, oh my goodness.
Movie industry. Get it right. It's your show.
Christian movies here on Christian Movie Connect.